What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon NFL video. It is Thursday Night Showdown, you guys. I'm very excited. If a lot of you came over here to this channel at the beginning of the MLB season. You haven't even seen our NFL content yet, so I'm very excited to be able to bring it to you. So what we're going to do, anytime we have a showdown, so normal times, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, we're going to have a breakdown. We're going to look at the positions. We're going to build some lineups for you on DraftKings, on FanDuel, and on Yahoo. After that, towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you one of my favorite bets of the day, or of the game, I should say. So we're going to look at that as well. We're going to talk some of that. So if you've never been here before, welcome to the channel for the first time. Or if you've been here but just never NFL content, welcome to the NFL content. I'm very excited that you guys are here. I cannot believe the NFL is here already. And we're going to hopefully have a fantastic season and help you bring home the bacon. So we do a lot of free stuff on these videos and in this channel. And if you haven't seen our MLB videos, we break down every single slate. So definitely go check out the MLB content. I will post the MLB video for this Thursday slate at the end of the video. But I'm very excited. We're going to go through everything. $10 a week. So if this is the video, this is all you need. That's awesome. You do need a little bit more help. We've got $10 a week FTA Plus. That gets you every sport. It's $30 a month. It's $200 for a year. But if you guys email me right now before the game starts, it's through the start of this NFL week, we are going to give you a $200 yearly special for only $75. All you got to do is email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. So I'm very excited. We're just going to kind of look over some of the NFL game. So we're going to look at the Dallas versus Philly. We do have some rain in the forecast. Hopefully that doesn't mess with us. It is opening night. I don't want a sloppy game. I want a lot of points. I want a lot of fantasy value, and I want a lot of bacon at the end of the day. So we're going to go and we're going to build you some lineups on all three sites, and then we'll show you some of our bets that we like. So current line right now, we got Philly as -8.5, and then over under 47.5. So a little bit lower over under, especially on an opening day or opening night. You would like to see a little bit higher, but the biggest one is Sunday night football between Baltimore and Buffalo. So we're very, very, very excited to be able to bring you that as well. So if we look at this, Dallas implied team total is 19.5. We've got Philly at 28.5. Obviously the line can change and shift depending on when you guys are looking at this video. It might have changed a little bit. So we've got some statistics that we used last year. We don't have anything updated right now. Obviously the season has not started, but from 2023 through last season, these are some of the statistics in showdowns that I think you guys want to take note on. Now, things can change a little bit. Obviously, when you have a rushing quarterback, you're going to get a little bit different than maybe a quarterback that does not move out of the pocket and he does not run much. But we're going to break it down. So here are the statistics going into this game through the last couple of seasons. 84% of the winning lineups on DraftKings when building your showdown lineups had a minimum of at least one quarterback in those lineups. 6% of those lineups use the entire $50,000 salary. So it is okay to leave salary on the table. Do not forget that it is very okay to do that. Do not feel, some of you, and I am guilty of this at times, you want to use all of the salary, all 50,000 here. You do not need to. There is a chance to go through that. 16% of the lineups, the winning lineups, had a $200 player or less. So in the flex, come down here, you get these $200 players. A lot of them are already ruled out, so that we're good there, but I wanted to bring that up here. 80% of the winning lineups had a player that's 4,000 or less in their flex. So we're looking right at Miles Sanders down. So we've got a lot to work with here. Defenses, I don't know about that. We'll see. There's always chances to use your defenses if you think your defense is going to, have 4 interceptions or 3 pick six or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is a chance. Average lineup salary on FanDuel, $47,500. So when the winning lineup was out there, they left $2,500 on the table. And then stack percentages. So stacking is a thing, baseball, football, whatever it is. These are how they break down. A 4-2 stack won 44% of the time. So you think Philly's going to win by what they're going to win by. You want 4 Philly. A lot of people are going to be like, well, wouldn't you want the team that's going to be behind? Maybe. It just depends on a lot of situations. I don't know if you guys could hear my dogs barking. I had to pause it. 33% of the time, or 36% of the time, a winning lineup had a 3-3 stack. So 3 Philly, 3 Dallas in this situation. And then only 21% of the time, a 5-1 stack. So let's just say it's an absolute, like, let's say in the Super Bowl, 5-1 stack. Philly, since they absolutely dismantled Kansas City, that makes a ton of sense there. So those are kind of the breakdowns of the stacks. It doesn't always work, but overall in the past couple of seasons, these are the statistics that we needed to go with. And then captain percentages, that's the big key. So a lot of people like to put a quarterback in there, and I get it. It makes sense in theory, but in correlation and looking over the statistics the past couple of years, that has not been the case. The winning position in the captain spot, 39% of the time, was a wide receiver. So wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, like a CD Lamb, AJ Brown, in that situation. So 39% of the time, the captain spot or MVP spot was a wide receiver. 28% of the time it was a running back. So obviously Saquon makes a ton of sense because you really don't know what Dallas is going to do here. They've got different pieces they can move for the running back situation. You know it's Saquon Barkley unless he gets hurt. 17% of the time it's been a quarterback. 7% of the time it's been a tight end. 7% of the time it's been a defense. I don't think that's going to be the case in this one. I could be wrong. Only 2% of the time has it been a kicker in the captain spot here on DraftKings. So kind of easy to look at. Obviously, there's correlation. If you've got a wide receiver in the captain spot, you kind of want to have your quarterback going with that. So that's just kind of a situation that you need to pay attention to. It doesn't always happen. If you wanted to put a quarterback in the captain spot, you got to make sure it's a mobile quarterback. So Jalen Hurts makes sense because they've got the tush push. He can run in a couple, and he can also toss a couple in a game. So that makes sense to me there. So I'm okay with him. Dak, I'm not 100% sure with. I think I'd rather put one of his wide receivers in there, but you got to stack your quarterback with your wide receiver who's in that captain spot. I don't need to dumb it down for you guys. You guys absolutely understand that 100%. So kind of just looking at different spots here for the captain spot. I mean, Barkley is very expensive. He is one where he's much more expensive on FanDuel than Hurts, but they are closer, as you can see, on DraftKings. So I'm okay with him because he's a little bit different. Obviously, had a monster year last year. I think if I'm looking at this, I'm not 100% on Barkley, but I am okay if you make multiple lineups if you put Barkley in there. Jalen Hurts does make sense. If you're playing cash on showdowns, I think he's a lock for your captain spot here. But if you're here for tournaments, I think we get a little bit different here. Dak, I don't mind. He obviously now has George Pickens. He has Javonte Williams in the backfield as well as Blue. He's got obviously Lamb. If he stays healthy, it could be good. This is one of those games where I'd rather have Hurts in the captain spot, but I don't fault you for having Dak, especially if they fall so far behind and he has to toss it up 50 times a game. Okay, that's the one spot here when it's such a big discrepancy in the spread. I am okay with that one. But if we're looking at captain spots, CD Lamb makes a little bit of sense. I mean, with Micah Parsons being gone, I think the Dallas's offense has to be super explosive here. They're going to have to toss the ball a ton, which is going to obviously make sense for a CD Lamb, or a George Pickens will be a little bit cheaper option. You can see Lamb is 16.2, Pickens is 12. So you're going to save some money there. Flip side of that, obviously, the way that the Eagles offense goes, any given day it could be AJ Brown or Devonta Smith, or it could just be a random person. But if I am looking at the captain spot, I think I'm picking between CD Lamb, George Pickens, be my two there for Dallas, for wide receivers. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith for the Eagles. I really love Hurts here a little bit more, but if we think that Dallas is going to be playing from behind, I'm okay there with Dak as your captain. So if you want to go further down, I think Devonta Smith has to be in almost every single one of your lineups here. He had 33 DraftKings points the last two times that he played against Dallas here. So the odds are good, especially if they're going to like double team AJ Brown and stuff like that. If we're going lower into like the 200 range, I don't love much. And it depends if some of these will get called up from the practice squad for this game. But you could look at maybe a Jalen Brooks if he gets called up. You could look maybe at a Darius Cooper for Philly. I don't know. He did look good in preseason. It just depends if Cooper is going to be in there. So those are just a couple of cheap options. You obviously have a ton of players already ruled out, so we don't have to really worry about it. So now we're going to build you some of these lineups. So for instance, let's say that we think they're going to be playing from behind, and we got to get a little bit of CeeDee Lamb in there. So we're going to put CeeDee Lamb as our captain spot, and we'll look at that. Obviously, with CeeDee Lamb, we're going to need Dak. I think we're going to want to have Jalen in there, because if he doesn't throw a couple, he's still going to run a couple in. Now we're at 4,600 for 3 spots, which I don't love, but it makes a little bit of sense if we get in there as well. So if we come in and maybe get a little George Pickens, now we're at 2,900. Get a little creative here, maybe a Jahan Dotson for Philly. So if you look at Jahan Dotson, obviously didn't do much last year. Coming over here now, we see that, I mean, he had 27 yards in preseason game here. So, 22 receptions last year, 269 yards. Obviously a different offense here. So definitely one you could get into. Maybe a Jahan Dotson is in there. Now we have 2,600 to work with. If you're looking at Marshall, I'm probably not. Calcaterra actually came through a couple of times last year for a cheap pick. You can see he was very cheap. He had nothing when he was in the captain, less than 1,000, stuff like that. So it depends on how far down you guys want to go. Will Shipley, you think he's going to get any run in this game? Probably not. Jalen Brooks is in here for Dallas. Now, if he gets off the practice squad, he could get called up. So that's definitely one to look at. Again, we're going to see these guys get called up, and then we'll kind of build from there. So looking at that, Jahan Dotson, maybe we do that. Maybe we don't put Pickens in there. We're at 4,600 for the rest of the way. You want to go at Dallas, say they're playing from behind. You want to go a 4-2 Dallas stack. I'm okay with that one. Maybe Aubrey gets in there as a kicker. You don't love the kickers all the time, but I'm okay with that. We come down to maybe you could have Mechie the third. I don't know if John Mechie will be in there, but again, if they're double teaming AJ Brown, let's say they don't have Devonta Smith in there. Like, I think we still get Devonta in there just because he's in a great matchup here. He is 8,400. He allows you to go down to 600, which there's not much. But if Brooks gets in there, it's a little crazy type lineup. And again, these obviously things can change. Obviously, this is a lineup that you'll have to change if Brooks is in fact not elevated from the practice squad. So these are, and I guess I forgot to mention, but when we're building these are tournament lineups I'm building, okay? I don't know why it's been saying I'm not in a good spot. I'm in a spot. I can play. What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. Let me pause the video. Okay, I don't know what that was. My account wasn't locked. It let the lineup go through. Not a clue what that was. Makes no sense to me. Okay, so that's one lineup. A way to go if you wanted to put CD as your captain spot there. It makes a ton of sense. Got to get a little creative here. I think a lot of people are going to be on CD. But let's, for instance, say Devonta Smith is your captain because he's dominated in this place before, which makes sense for me as well. So let's put Devonta here. You're going to save about 4,000 instead of going with Barkley. Completely understand that one. We got to put Jalen Hurts in there. So Jalen Hurts throwing obviously to him. Another one, I think Goddard. I think I want to take exposure to this. So Hurts throwing to Smith and Goddard. I really like that one. Let's get CD in there as well. Now we're at 46 again. If you were to take CD out and go George Pickens, I'm okay with that one as well because you are going to save 2,800. That allows you 6,000 for 2 spots. Now, you got 12,000 left. Let's say we do put CD in there. You're at 1,200. If you do find that, again, like I said, they do have for this, a player 4,000 or less 80% of the time, the nuts. Now let's look at, if it loads, Hunter Loopkey. News-wise, extension with them. So so he's a fullback. I don't know how much he's going to get in there. It might be one of those crazy ones, bulldozing in, but that's $400 to put him in there. Everyone else above him is out. You do have Jalen Brooks if he doesn't get called up. So this one's interesting. We left $800 on the table. Again, you do not need to use all of the salary there to feel good about that. So you got Hurts. It's a 3-3 stack. You got Hurts thrown into Goddard and Smith. Then you got Lamb and Pickens. And then you got Loopkey. Or we take out Lamb and you're at 11,000 for a flex. You can get in Barkley. You can get in A.J. Brown. You could get in Dak. So you got Dak in there. You've left 3,000 on the table. And then you come in here, you know, A.J. Dillon I'm not using, Turpin now, blah, blah. You could go Loopkey. You could go Calcaterra. You could go Schoonmaker. You know, he had a couple of good games last year when everyone was on Jake Ferguson. I'm okay with that. So 3-3 if you want to go with that, and you do want to go with Dak, I mean, that makes sense. If you want to take Dak out of there and you want to have just one quarterback, I'm okay with that one as well. So let's say we get Ferguson in there. Now we're at 6,800. So you've got down here to, you know, you're not using McCord, you're not using Greer, Howell, blah, 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 all those guys. You could come down here. You could look at maybe an Eagles defense. You could look at Jake Elliott, depending. You think they're going to be kicking it a bunch. You've left 2,400 on the table. I don't love always having a kicker there, but now it's a 4-2 stack, looking at Philly as the 4 of the 2 stack. See, now I was able to do that. I mean, it makes no sense to me. Then we're going to break down one more lineup here, get a little creative. Like I said, in the captain spot, 28% of the time it was Saquon, or it was a running back. So let's just look at Saquon here and see what we're able to do. He is very expensive on DraftKings. I get that. So let's see what kind of lineup we're able to do here. Let's put in Hurts. Maybe he does dump off passes to him. Maybe he gets some thrown to him as well. A.J. Brown is there at 9,400, but I think I want to go down to Devonta Smith and save 1,000. So we got 4,600 to work with. Let's put in Javonte Williams here. He can be involved in the passing game as well. So we're at 4,200 here. Maybe we go down to a Ferguson. Now we're at 32. So we can go Jahan Dotson, which I'm not sold on him yet, but maybe after one game we'll see. Let's go Lukey here. So you do have 2 running backs. Let's say Williams, 99-yard run. They bring in Lukey to give him some air, and he bulldozes his way into a touchdown. Be a cheap option. You've left 2,800 on the table. I'm okay with that one. So those are 3 of the DraftKings ones that I wanted to look at. We're now going to do FanDuel. So FanDuel is a little bit different. They do have 60,000. You have one more spot. You still have the 1.5 MVP here. So it is a little bit different just due to a little bit more flexibility because you do have an extra spot and an extra 10,000 on the line here. So looking at that, I mean, the statistics are on DraftKings, but we still have about the same that we're going to go with. So for instance, let's just say we like MVP, get a little crazy here. George Pickens. So we put George Pickens as the MVP. I want Dak throwing it to him. I want Jalen in here, and I want Jalen throwing it to Vonta. Okay. Now we're at 7,400 the rest of the way to go 2 different spots. So with that, you go down to Jake Ferguson. I think Dak throws it to both Pickens and Ferguson. We're at 9,800 the rest of the way. Maybe Goddard comes in here. So you have 3-3. You have Hurts throwing it to Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert. You've got Dak throwing it to both Pickens and Ferguson as well. So we're going to enter that lineup here. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do another lineup here for you. Maybe a little bit different here, but for instance, let's put Jalen Hurts in here. Maybe he bulldozes his way into the end zone for a touchdown or 2. You never know. So we've got Jalen in here. I want Jalen to throw it to A.J. Brown. A little bit different here. We'll put it there. I want Dak in this lineup as well. I want Dak probably thrown it to Jake Ferguson. Give him to throw to Fergie. Now we're at 7,300 for 2 spots, which I think is pretty doable, and I think we could be okay with that. So let's get Devonta in here as well. And now we've left 5,100 on the table. We can go at different directions here. You think Jaden Blue is going to get in here? Wasn't listed on Cowboys practice report Monday, so obviously he didn't suit up for the 2 preseason games. He does have an injury. I don't know if he plays. A.J. Dillon is obviously, he isn't in line to play in Friday's preseason game back in August here. Really didn't do much to end the year, but he was there. So then what do we do with 5,100? Do we leave some on the table? Do we come back? Do we go a weird little Calcaterra here? You could go different directions. Miles Sanders is another one. There's so many mouths to feed in the backfield in Dallas. It's very hard to know exactly what I want to look at. So yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what we're going to get out of their running backs, but he is capable of having good games depending on who he's playing. If we look at this last year, Philly did not play Philly, did he? No. It depends on what you got, but you could go a Miles Sanders, you go Will Shipley. Maybe we get out of here and we don't go Devonta, and we've got 7,300 to play with. You want to go back and forth. We go Javonte Williams, and now we're at 8,100. You can get Eagles defense. You can get Dallas Goedert. I don't mind that. We do have both quarterbacks. They're throwing it. I don't mind that whatsoever. So then we're going to do one more. We're going to look at maybe a Saquon here. And it just depends. Obviously, there's a lot to go over through here, but if we enter a new lineup, Saquon is very expensive. He's $21,600. I don't know if I can afford that. I don't know if I even want to attempt to afford that. He's very expensive here. I don't enjoy that. But for instance, let's just say we are looking down at, let's not go Barkley because he is so expensive. Let's, for instance, say I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to go Dak. I'm going to go Hurts. I'm going to go Devonta Smith. We're at 4,700 for 2 spots available. That's where it gets a little crazy, but we have to get crazier. So let's say Jahan Dotson gets the best part of the game because they're covering Devonta Smith and they're looking at A.J. Brown a little bit too much. Now we're at 6,400. We can get a kicker in there. Maybe Philly's defense is really good, and you got Brandon Aubrey there. You got Jake Elliott. Maybe they're up so big they start kicking field goals. That's where we could put in a Jake Elliott as well. So these are just 3 lineups. Again, these are tournament lineups. A lot of things can change between now and game time, especially if anyone gets elevated from the practice squad. Not a ton of you play on Yahoo, so I'm only going to do like 1 or 2 lineups. I can't enter paid lineups in my state for whatever reason, but it's the pricing is actually okay for what we're able to do. So Jalen Hurts at the superstar spot. You got CeeDee Lamb. I think we could get Dak in there. I think we could get George Pickens in there as well. And now we're at $15 the rest of the way. We can go Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders. I'll probably go Javonte Williams here. So that's one lineup. I don't mind that one, okay? So that's one you can do. And then we can clear a lineup and we can see what we can do. For instance, let's put Lamb in the top spot. So if I'm going CeeDee Lamb here, I'm going to put Lamb. Obviously, we want Dak throwing to him. I want to get Jalen in here because he's got those legs that he can run with. George Pickens. And then we've got $15 again. You can go Javonte Williams. You got a little bit more Dallas here. 4-1 here. That's another one you can look at. So those are definitely ones you can look at and build around if you are getting excited for this slate, which I am as well. So we'll enter that. Blah, blah, blah. It's a free game. Now, there are certain bets you want to take. Now with DraftKings, so if you guys do not have a sportsbook account yet, I will have links to FanDuel and DraftKings in the description of this video. We also have a weekly DraftKings league, $5 to enter. Every single week, it's $5. Top 3 places will pay each week. If you play, the more you play, the more points you accrue at the end of the year. First place overall will win a free lifetime pass to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, which is a $500 value. Second place will be a yearly pass, and third place will be a monthly pass for you. So, very excited what we've got to the table. This is one of the bets that I do like. So, I am taking this bet. It's plus 1,000, okay, which is always a plus. You got Jalen Hurts for anytime touchdown. Barkley, I have 80. I don't mind him 70 or 75, but 70 plus yards and 80 plus yards is a huge difference in odds. So I do like this one. Jalen for a touchdown. Saquon, 80 plus rushing yards. CeeDee Lamb, 6 plus receptions. Dak for 230 plus passing yards. Jalen for 210 plus passing yards. And Dak Prescott for 2 plus passing touchdowns. So right there, that is plus 1,000. And you will get, if you get in, you're going to get super boost. You can get a Saquon Barkley super boost to plus 100. You get a no sweat bet for this game. If you sign up using our link, I believe you will get up to $200 match. So if you sign up and you deposit $200, they're going to match you up to $200, unless they have a new deal for the new season. If you do not have an account already, it would be awesome if you guys would use us. The links will be signed down below. If you sign up using our DraftKings link or FanDuel Sportsbook link, show me proof that you signed up using our link, and I'm going to give you a free month of FTA Plus on top of it. So that being said, hopefully you guys have a great day. Hopefully you are ready to rock and roll this NFL season. Let's have a great opening night. Good luck, and as always, bring home some bacon. Peace!